good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And warm greetings from the Global Alliance for Medical Physics Education and Research, GAMPER. I am MD Joaid Islam, founder and executive director of GAMPER. It's my privilege to welcome you to the special event organized to mark the International Day of Medical Physics IDMP 2025. Today, we celebrate the legacy of Marie Curie and honor the essential work of medical physicists to keep modern healthcare safe, accurate, and effective. The theme of this year, Medical Physics and Emerging Technology, Shaping the Next Decade, reflects the existing and rapid changes in our field driven by artificial intelligence, adaptive radiotherapy, quantitative imaging, and other emerging tools. When these technologies are powerful, their true impact depends on how we use them. We stand at the intersection of technology and humanity, translation the innovations into care and ensuring their progress truly benefits patients and everyone. Based on this theme, we designed the webinar Shaping the Next Decade, a global expert dialogue on medical physics and emerging technologies with global experts. This titles reflects our missions to bring together international expertise to discuss how emerging technologies and transforming medical physics globally. Now, I am delighted to introduce our moderator who will guide the discussion and Q&A sessions. Please join me in welcome Ms. Jivanshu Jain, who is medical physicist at Actrek Tata Memorial Center, Mumbai, India. Jivanshu will introduce each speaker and lead the panel discussion after the presentation. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Viral, and a very good day to everyone. I am Jivanshu, and I am a medical physicist at the Advanced Center for Treatment, Research and Education in Cancer, India. I welcome you all to the special 2025 IDMP webinar organized by the Global Alliance for Medical Physics Education and Research. Our speakers for the event, Professor Kwan-Hoong Ng, Professor Dr. Tomas Kron, Dr. Arun Chougule, and Dr. Christoph Trauernicht have joined us. I welcome you all, sir. The Global Alliance for Medical Physics Education and Research, GAMPER, is a non-profit international organization dedicated to enhancing medical physics education, research, and professional training worldwide. It aims to bridge the global disparity in medical physics expertise, particularly in low and middle-income countries, with a vision to empower medical physics globally through education, research, and collaboration, with a focus on advancing healthcare in developing countries and promoting equitable access to medical physics innovations and best practices, GAMPER organizes numerous educational and training courses, global collaborative research projects, mentorship and human resource development programs, and fostered global partnerships and capacity building. This special webinar has been organized by GAMPER to celebrate the International Day of Medical Physics 2025. The International Day of Medical Physics, IDMP, was established by the International Organization for Medical Physics and is celebrated each year on November 7th, commemorating the birthday of Madame Curie. IDMP aims to highlight the vital role of medical physicists in patient care and recognize their contributions in the healthcare and raise awareness towards the profession. The theme for IDMP 2025 is Medical Physics and Emerging Technologies, Shaping the Next Decade. In line with this theme of IDMP 2025, our today's webinar has been organized, touching upon the emerging technologies in cancer care and the role of medical physics in their effective implementation. Medical physics is a dynamic field, and each day a new technology or product is introduced to us. Our place in the healthcare system is at the cusp of research and patient care, and thus our role is pivotal in implementation of newer technologies. With artificial intelligence coming into the main arena, each one of us is equally excited and apprehensive about what the coming times hold for us. And that is evident by the large number of medical physicists that have joined us in this webinar from world over. The special webinar will have 4 presentations followed by a panel discussion and live Q&A session with the audience. Without further delay, I would like to introduce our first speaker of the webinar, Professor Dr. Kwan-Hoong, Professor Emeritus, Department of Biomedical Engineering, University Malaya, Malaysia. Professor Hoong is a distinguished medical physicist, internationally recognized for his exceptional contributions to medical imaging, breast density research, radiological safety, medical physics education, and risk communication. He is the only Malaysian certified by the American Board of Medical Physics and has been awarded with Marie Curie Award from IOMP in 2018 and the Merdeka Award in 2020. In 2013, he was listed amongst the top 50 medical physicists in the world by IOMP. His contributions to the scientific society are endless, and Asia Safe and International Leadership and Mentorship Program are just a few of his notable initiatives. Due to his busy schedule, he joined us for a short time, and I request the organizers to play his recorded presentation. The participants are requested to mute their microphones during the presentations and put their questions in the chat box, or they will also get an opportunity for a live Q&A at the end of the session. Over to the organizers. Can you please play Professor Kwan's presentation?
Today, it's a privilege to be speaking at this GAMPER special webinar, Shaping the Next Decade, a global expert dialogue on medical physics and emerging technologies. We just celebrated the International Day of Medical Physics, and the theme is also on shaping the next decade. Why did we choose November 7? It was the birthday of Marie Curie. And by the way, there's another great physicist having the same birthday. Do you know who he is? None other than Chandrasekhar Raman. You remember the Raman spectroscopy, Raman scattering. The past to shape the future. X-ray was invented about 130 years ago, and during the First World War, Madame Curie was using it, a primitive X-ray system, to help X-ray the injured soldiers, and that was the Coolidge X-ray tube, continued to be used until today. Not much change in X-ray, fluoroscopy, CT, and there is recently a revolution in able to have this electrical device using carbon nanotube technology with few emission to produce X-ray. That will be a revolution in the future. And we've seen imaging therapy advancing tremendously. So we work along with engineers, radiographers, data scientists, doctors, to bring in more innovation. It's serving like a bridge, bringing patient safety out typically, and also quality and innovation. We must recognize the changing landscape, the aging population and digital transformation, particularly AI, and also patients, public as our partners, and the rise of precision medicine. And we are moving from diagnostic therapy, prognosis to preventive and predictive in the future. And the best way to predict the future is to shape it. Yeah, we don't dream about it, but do something to shape it. I'll share you some reflection on my journey and my thoughts. If anything worth doing is worth doing it badly. Late John Cameron always say that. What it means is don't wait for perfection. Just do it. Perfection will come later. And there's an article I wrote about him. Very inspirational. Innovate and explore. 25 years ago, there's hardly any medical physics in our region, not any postgraduate program. So teleteaching was one we started to explore with Paris Paul, with using Skype and various form of. It helps a lot to get going. And also with Milton Wu in therapy physics. Here we have real time assessing his treatment planning. We can see what he does. So that was innovation then to get going, the remote real time education with people. Then came the COVID-19. We were all locked down. Could we do something to bring people together to help one another? So with Madalena Stova, we launched this program, the book, Medical Physics during the COVID-19 pandemic, from clinical practice, education, and research, bringing 99 authors throughout the whole world, and here with principal authors for various topics. And in the preface, we did mention, right, and all this hardship, pandemic, give us an opportunity to learn something. Is the basis for better development and recognition of profession. We all need to grow and we need to lead the field. And if we focus on growth, we will grow and always hit goals. The growth is important. And in leadership in physics, it's not just on about our title, professor, how many papers published, on the mindset. And Dumbledore once told Harry Potter, it's our choices that show what we truly are far more than our abilities. So it's our mindset, our attitude. And to lead, one way is in AI. Have we introduced that seriously in our curriculum? Are we equipped ourselves and the new generation to face this AI in healthcare? And we started the ASEAN College of Medical Physics to have run various tutorial programs, teach them some coding skills, and also bringing in molecular biology as well. It is also important to understand that. And how about the quantum computer? With Dr. Yap, one of the fantastic physicists holding this a quantum computer chip, 10 qubits only, and I was holding 50-year-old technology, the punch card, the mainframe computer. So to lead, and we organize on the 19th of December, do lock in a journey into quantum computing. Right? This is a series of quantum computing. We'll introduce quantum physics as well. And to do that, this is such a wide area. You need to be versatile and relevant. And I mentioned about the Renaissance period, and we have the great guy, Leonardo da Vinci. He's driven by curiosity, he's passionate at learning, he masters synthesize knowledge in several domains or several fields, science, humanities, philosophies, art. So Leonardo da Vinci is a polymath, one who masters different fields, right? And today, all of us could become a polymath in some way. You look at these other polymers. On the right, you recognize his Enrico Fermi, and the left Omar Khayyam, and whereas throughout ages, they are mathematicians, physicists, philosophers, architects, and all in one. And the second one is you remember him, right? Avicenna, right? There's a startup named after him, even Avicenna.ai. So we need to versatile. We have the ability to master different skills, right? To master computer science, biology, chemistry, so to expand uh, our innovation. So that will let us be relevant. I wrote this article a while ago about 2020. It passed, evolved. Yeah, we were relevant. Right? How about by 2030, will we still be relevant? Ask a question ourselves. And this illustration about this mouse looking for the cheese, right? Instead of going round in the maze, just move to a new dimension, the third dimension, look far beyond, looking for the cheese. So there's a good analogy example for us. So we need to collaborate with other specialties as well. It's important to interdisciplinary, two or more disciplines come together to create something more than a sum of its part. It's something like blue sky thinking. Sky is the limit, right? It's infinity. and it will help to tackle complex issues. So today we have lots of issues with climate change, food security, medical chronic condition. It's all complex issue. We need this interdisciplinary together. And this special issue nature highlight this interdisciplinarity 10 years ago. All these are the superman, superwomen, right, trying to save the world, so-called. So that interesting. I like to refer to the late John Cameron, John Mallard, sorry, my mentor from Aberdeen. Uh, he worked with engineers, physicists, medical practitioners, and various experts to develop the first generation MRI uh, and the Mark One. So only with that you could really have this innovation. And many young ones around us need to be nurtured, need to be mentored. They are future leaders to grow uh, like this big oak tree from seeds. So it started the Global Leadership Mentoring Program with a bunch of young ones enthusiastic Brazil, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. Next year will be the 10th year we started, and we have Robert Jurai, Tomas Kron, Eva Bizak working along with me as co-mentors, not only academic, but we also mentor them life skills, the career choice, and various issues. So that is a good way to bring these people together, uh, to walk together for the future. And it comes working research projects, survey, just helping one another. So if any one of you interested, do contact me. And if we do all this, we must change and make a difference, impact to the world. I like to quote the Little Prince, as for the future, your task is not to foresee, but to enable it. It's very important. We talk about shaping the future, the next decade. Don't just sit there and just talk about it. We dream, yes, but we need to enable it to make it happen. Right? We shape it. We do something to make it happen. So how to do that? To summarize, innovate and explore, grow and lead, be versatile and relevant, collaborate with others, nurture and mentor, change and make a difference. And that illustration about this boy walking the path is what Rumi, a Persian scholar, Jalaluddin Rumi, said. As you start to walk on the way appears. So don't worry about, oh, how do I go about? I don't know. I'm not sure. But just start to walk, start to do research, and the way appears to us. So we take action to explore to new knowledge understanding. So achieve more, we should imagine together and change. And let us all make a difference. Thank you. The past.
Thank you. And although Sir has not yet joined us back, but I would like to convey our thanks to Sir for this very interesting presentation that he had compiled for us. We move on to the next speaker. Our next speaker for today, Professor Dr. Tomas Kron. Professor Tomas Kron is the Director of Physical Sciences, Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre, Melbourne, Australia. With a keen interest in dosimetry of ionizing radiation, image-guided radiotherapy, clinical trials, and education of medical physics, which is demonstrated by more than 230 papers in peer-reviewed journals, Professor Kron holds academic honorary appointments on a professional level at Monash, RMIT, and Wollongong universities. In 2013, he was awarded the Distinguished Services Award of the Australasian College of Physical Scientists and Engineers in Medicine, ACPSEM, and nominated as one of the 50 medical physicists featured at the International Conference of Medical Physics in Brighton, UK. In 2014, he was awarded an Order of Australia Medal for services to medicine, research, and education. With his varied and vast clinical and academic experience, Professor Kron will today deliver his talk on medical physics between tech and patient. We stand center stage. And I request Sir now to take the center stage.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Can I please just check that you can all hear me? And
Yeah,
I
we
will
can hear
also
you, sir. Yeah, we can hear
Yes,
you.
Yes, sir.
That is wonderful. And you should also now be able to see my screen. And I will
Yes, sir,
just
we're able to.
maximize my screen. Excellent. So
Yes, sir.
thank you very much for giving me an opportunity here to share some thoughts about shaping the next decade and looking at the role of medical physicists in this context. I have titled my presentation in using a haiku, a special Japanese way of putting together poems. So the title is Medical Physics, Between Tech and the Patient. We are center stage. And I think the poesy of all this should convey the importance really of we play as medical physicists in the context of healthcare. But why medical physics? Why now? Why here in our region? Well, medical physics has developed dramatically since the days of Madame Curie. Medical physics now is commonly combining imaging, nuclear medicine, radiotherapy, and health physics or radiation protection with a whole lot of subfields which we have started to bring into healthcare, like risk management, like computing at all sorts of different levels, and a variety of different therapy approaches. Medical physicists are at the interface between technology and the patient and are also so the translator of technology to other hospital staff. We are in an ideal position to utilize some of the truly disruptive technologies which are currently emerging, such as machine learning, adaptive manufacturing or 3D printing, and theranostics. And when I say utilize and disruptive, then I do not mean that we just apply it like such, but that we apply our judgment and our knowledge in order to optimize the outcomes of these technologies in the context of patient care. We are currently discovering soft skills like communication with patients, with other staff, with the public, and we are discovering how important credentialing, certification, and registration is. And then finally, we are probably working all over the world on a hopefully increasingly level playing field where we can realize the benefits of technology and physics all over the world without any concerns about geography, about resources, about age, and about gender. And I think in particular in the latter, medical physics has been really a trailblazer for many of the STEM technologies where women have had a much larger impact on our practice than in many other fields. This is the place where I'm coming from. Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre is a rather big public cancer centre. And in the context of this presentation, the most important thing is that physical sciences, the department I'm chairing, includes engineering, imaging, and radiation oncology as such. So the purpose and objectives of this presentation in the next 10 minutes is to provide a very high-level overview of technological advances as such, but particularly particularly tried to consider what are the drivers for this innovation and how do medical physicists link to these drivers and can participate in driving this progress for our patients. And of course, the main objective is to start a discussion, make us think, make us talk, and make us work with each other. If I look at modern radiotherapy, then this is built on conventional radiotherapy originating in the mid-last century, and then via isocentric treatments, conformal, stereotactic, IMRT, VMAT, has really moved to a much, much better treatment delivery as such. When I started radiotherapy 35 years ago, in radiotherapy, many of our patients had very traumatic toxicities, and we were only able to apply radiotherapy once in a patient's lifetime. If that failed, everything failed. Now, in 2020, we have patients who are breathing through radiation therapy without any toxicity, and we have the opportunity to treat patients again and again and again because of technological advances. Let me briefly try to identify what are the drivers of radiotherapy advances. And there are four main drivers I would like to cover briefly. One is the delivery technology, then imaging for planning and verification, computing, of course, and then systemic therapies. And I think that is something which I think we are, as physicists, need to start building into our training, into our considerations increasingly. If I start with delivery technology and sort of try to look at the importance of that over time, there has been a constant increase as such, but it's sort of leveling out a bit now. We are probably as good as we want to be. Let's think of protons, carbon, and things to come as such. Delivery technology has become specialized again. After we've seen in the 1970s and 80s, sort of everything coming into one linear accelerator type, one C-shaped linear accelerator was really doing everything. We are now seeing again specialization in the context of cyberknives, flattening filter-free beams, flash, tomotherapy, and so on. What does that mean for physicists? Well, it means we need to learn a lot more. We need to be familiar with a lot more variable technologies overall. And we do need to recognize that increasingly many of these technologies are only offered by one vendor, which means that we are more important in terms of ensuring that what this vendor provides us is actually sustainable in the context of our healthcare. If I look at modern radiotherapy and look at the utilization, in our center now we treat more than 500 patients every year with stereotactic treatments, which is a complete change of practice. Many of these patients come again and again and again for these treatments. The treatments are virtually without toxicity, and they have started to replace surgery in many patients which are sort of borderline resectable. If one looks at what is required for SABR, all these bits and pieces are obviously technology, and they require physicists. But they also require the clinical evidence. And I think that is something we as physicists need to get more involved in, which is clinical trials. And these is just a number of clinical trials at our institution where we looked at lung cancer, prostate cancer, kidney cancer, and breast cancer, and tried to identify what is the role of stereotactic treatments in these scenarios. Medical physicists from our team have been instrumental in all of these. And I do believe that as we are trying to identify where new technology has a role to play, medical physicists will become more important in clinical trials. The second main driver is the imaging. and the imaging for treatment planning and treatment verification as such. And if one looks at a patient pathway, and it's always useful for physicists to remind ourselves how our patients move through radiotherapy as such, from the clinical evaluation and to follow-up and treatment, then one can see that more and more imaging is really specifically there for radiotherapy as such. And it is specialized for radiotherapy and for their radiotherapy purposes. We then get these beautiful pictures here, a CT scan, the treatment unit, and we can combine the treatment modality with the individual patient, customizing the treatment delivery with what happens on the individual patient there. But of course, that is what our clinicians see. But is that actually something which is real? Can we actually deliver that? Can we deliver these small fields safely? Does the patient potentially breathe? Is there some motion? And it is really in these spaces where the physicists need to translate what clinicians see here, static and with small fields, into the reality. And part of that realization of things is really the imaging on the treatment unit, verification imaging, again, looking at motion, looking at patient positioning, and allowing to position the patient or the target and the critical structures in a way which optimizes the treatment delivery. Of course, computing is currently the key ingredients which changes the way we are practicing as such. And that is required for complex delivery, for record and verify, automation, data analysis. Clinical trials cannot be run without computing anymore. And you can see probably the importance of computing best if one looks at the traditional workflow. Again, patients going from diagnosis all the way to planning, to treatment and follow-up. That's not how modern radiotherapy works anymore. Modern radiotherapy works much more complex, and it's not as streamlined as such. We may have adaptive radiotherapy, we have motion management put in there. We do need to consult with other specialists, radiologists, nuclear medicine clinicians, radiobiologists. Contouring happens at the treatment planning stage and at the treatment delivery stage. And physicists become more and more important also in follow-up and more than QA. So this non-linear workflow does require different timescales and does require some automation. There is some overlap, obviously, and that reminds me of the risk management physicists will need to engage with, who will actually then ensure that every crucial thing in this failure mode and effects analysis in the TG100 approach is actually covered. Very helpful in this process to make this complexity of treatment manageable is scripting. And we are doing scripting in our institution now since more than 5 years. We've got 16 active scripts overall, and we have more than 400 unique users running these scripts as such. These are sort of the type of scripts you can see here, and some scripts are employed only in a research environment. But you can see here from the number of scripts used here per month. This is per month we run 5,000 scripts as such. We cannot think of radiotherapy treatment planning and delivery without this type of automation. Who has written the scripts? You can guess. Medical physicists. Very true. And who is governing the scripts and who is ensuring that we know how often scripts are used? It's medical physicists. And the impact is quite dramatic. We can reduce the number of problems we find in treatment plans by about half by running these scripts as such. And that takes me again to this patient pathway. And now I'm not showing the imaging parts, but I show the potential for automation in the patient pathway, as you can see it here overall. And that leads from decision-making support all the way towards automatic QA processes, and in the context of adaptation and adaptive radiotherapy, really all of the above. Artificial intelligence, machine learning can really help. And I think the medical physicists have a very, very important role to play in the future, not to use AI, but to use it in a way that it is controlled, that we understand its limitations, that we can control bias, that we control uncertainties in that, and really help with the optimized implementation thereof. Because AI-generated treatment planning is about to happen. This is work from one of our postdocs who got a treatment plan, a grant to develop an automatic treatment planning process as such. I want to finish off by looking at the driver of systemic therapies as such. And systemic therapies is something we do need to start thinking of in the context of radiobiology, because immune therapy is obviously tremendously important, and we do need to understand how our tools, our radiation, our imaging tools are linking not just with the radiation delivery, but also with the immune therapy delivery. But systemic therapy can also really mean radiation delivery. And our colleagues in nuclear medicine have seen a dramatic explosion of treatments. We are now treating about 10,000, about more than 1,000 radionuclide therapies every year in our institution. And many radiation oncology people would be surprised to learn that about 20% of all our radiotherapy is actually done in nuclear medicine. And you can see here how well that works. You can't take an external beam radiotherapy treatment to these type of metastatic settings, but the injected lutetium PSMA does a pretty good job there. This is not cure, and this patient will recur in a couple of months as such, but it does provide a very new and very, very effective interaction. This means we need to think about education. There are lots of challenges for education, and medical physicists need to be part of the education on both sides. We need to deliver education, like these sessions here, and we need to be the recipient of education. And then there are lots of other things when we talk about progress in radiation oncology and the physicists' involvement thereof. And I just put these up here in a slide. I hope that we can discuss this all a bit more in the rest of the session here. So in summary, I think radiotherapy is a development. It has developed dramatically. We are somewhere here now just implementing adaptive radiation therapy, but the next decade has commenced. It's a dynamic field where collaboration, communication, soft skills are important, where computing is becoming a mainstay of our practice. And I would propose that we are looking in the next decade as the decade of the 3 E's: of education, of ethics, because we must not forget why we do this. We don't do that just to write beautiful code or to have a great, very fast radiation delivery. We do this for our patients. And then obviously the excitement. So I look forward to the next decade of triple E. Thank you very much. And the haiku is actually a reminder for me also to remind you that Medical Physics for World Benefits, of which I'm the past president, is running a poetry contest. If you come up with by the 30th of November with a good poem, with something about medical physics, please let us know. And the best 3 will get a pair of very fashionable socks for NPWB. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such a thought-provoking and inspiring talk. We have a few questions, but I think we would be taking them towards the end of the session. And with this, now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Arun Chougule from India, who has mentored generations of medical physicists in India, including me. Professor Chougule is the Dean and Chief Academic Officer, Swasth Kalyan Group India, and is the ex-Senior Professor, Department of Radiological Physics, SMS Medical College and Hospitals, and ex-Pro Vice Chancellor, RUHS. He has served as immediate past chair of the Education and Training Committee and chairman of the Accreditation Board of IOMP. He is a member of the Board of Directors of IMPCB and the past president of EFOM. He has published over 182 research papers in peer-reviewed journals and has presented more than 450 papers at conferences worldwide. He has also been the principal investigator for 5 major Government of India funded research projects. Professor Chougule has been a recipient of numerous awards and honors which can't be listed in such a short time. It's always an honor to welcome you, sir, and I request you to deliver your address on interprofessional collaboration for innovation and research in medical physics. Professor Arun Chougule.
Thank you, Jivanshu, for your kind introduction. I am proud of all my colleagues who worked with me and we all benefited with our medical physics. So I will try to share my PPT. Okay. I think it's visible. It's visible?
It is
Yes,
just on screen.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks to GAMPER for giving this opportunity, and so many stalwarts I am seeing in this session they will be speaking about, and I see a lot of young medical physicists here. So I accept my greetings and best wishes from me, GAMPER, APOM, IOMP, and IMPCP for this IDMP Celebrations 2025. And the theme of this year is medical physics and emerging technologies shaping the next decade. And Tomas has talked about how it is helping directly into radiotherapy and many areas. And this is a poster prepared by the Mauritius medical physicist where competitions was held, and almost 63 the participant. This is chosen as the poster for IDMP. So I'll be talking about interprofessional collaboration for innovation and research for medical physics, because if you want to make any innovations to happen, then there has to be a collaboration. Without collaboration, now solo research is almost not possible we have to do. So, as Jivanshu has talked about, in 2012, IOMP has thought about having a day where we can celebrate the International Day of Medical Physics to showcase the contribution of the medical physics into the healthcare. And it was appropriately chosen as 7th November, the medical physicist Mary Skłodowska or Mary Curie's birthday. And since 2013, we are celebrating this IDMP by arranging many programs, not only on the same day, but before and after that program, to showcase what medical physicists can do and inspire the young medical physicists. And you can see various themes, how important is medical physics for radiodiagnosis, radiation oncology, education, how it is important. And you can see that the 2024 theme was inspiring the next generation of the medical physicists, because that is a generation which is carrying forward the development, groundbreaking work which has been done by our giants who they started this IOMP 60 years ago in 2023. So I will go ahead with this thing. And as I said, that we do celebrate at Jaipur, and Jivanshu was part of this celebration. You can see in one of the photos here that she's also there. Very actively she took part. So we celebrated not only just conducting the webinars or seminars or session. This also we did that thing. Also, we used to have rallies and into the public awareness and that thing. This is how it was done. This was 2017 when IOMP President Slavik Tabako was there. Many of them have arrived. There does not exist a category of science to which one can give the name applied. Sciences are there, and then there are applications of the sciences, and we get the fruit of these collaboration applications of science, what Louis Pasteur has talked about. The demand of qualified medical physicists has led to the creation of numerous educational programs around the world. As the technology is growing, application of radiation in healthcare, in radiotherapy, radiodiagnosis, nuclear medicine, and many other areas has increased. And to take care of that thing, we need clinically qualified medical physicists. And therefore, education is the foundation to create those clinically qualified medical physicists. So medical physics is facing significant changes in last 1 or 2 decades, I will say, particularly with the rapid development of biological sciences. We are moving from physical doses to biological doses, from physical target to a biological target, more complex research requiring interdisciplinary teams. Very important is interdisciplinary team, and there's an urgent need for translation research that from the lab to the clinic, from the lab to the bed, from the lab to the industry production, bringing those research and development is very, very important. And therefore, it is not single specialty job. It is a multi-specialty, interdisciplinary teams are needed. The changes towards personalized medicine, because now we have moved from the one type of treatment to all to tailor-made treatment, personalized medicine, new avenues for medical physicists, not only into therapy, but also molecular image, diagnostic, adaptive radiotherapy. And to prepare medical physicists for the future, educational and training should be properly adjusted to include more basic non-physical sciences, particularly biology, imaging, molecular imaging, and interdisciplinary translational research component. And you can see AAPM, ISRO has modified. Also, AFOM has brought out the curriculum to take care of this thing. Einstein has said, education is not the learning of the facts, but the training of the minds to think, more so for a professional, that to health professional medical physicist. And quality education is a foundation for developing competent health workers who are dealing well-being of mankind, human being, who are equipped with the knowledge, attitude, skills, and competency. It is not just the book knowledge. You have to have a skills and competency to deliver the quality healthcare, and we need clinically qualified, competent medical physicists. That is very, very important. And for medical physics, for sustainable healthcare is the requirement. Providing high quality healthcare services requires at least 3 important pillars. Advanced technology in the field of healthcare. And just we have listened to Tomas Kron, how advanced technologies in radiotherapy, not only in radiotherapy, advanced technologies in diagnostics, see from the CT scan to MRI to functional imaging to hybrid imaging to all these things have come up. And then qualified personnel with adequate education and training in the healthcare and technology are very, very important, because it's a team work to deliver our goal. Intellectual system that links the above two pillars to provide a complete pathway of sustainable healthcare services. And I congratulate GAMPER and all the officials and the leaders that they have taken this pledge to educate, and they provided the platform for intelligent system to train people for this sustainable healthcare. So application of physics in medicine are not just in radiotherapy. If you take many countries in Asia, just 95% of the medical physics are in radiotherapy. But there is a huge role in diagnostic radiology, because very high dose imaging technologies have come up, and we need very stringent QA/QC, radiation protection, all. We have nuclear medicine for diagnosis and treatment, cardiology, neurology, ophthalmology, otology, surgery, and many more application of physics is taking place, and where the clinically qualified medical physicists can play their role. So, as a chair of the ETC, I tried to collect the data which is now available on the IMP website. Also, approximately more than 392 medical physics undergraduate programs are running across the world. But if you talk about the AFOM region, though number is large, AFOM is a very big region, 4.2 billion people, half of the world's population. And if you look at number of program, 0.03 program per million population. Similarly, FAMPO, the African region, if you see it, even the MEPOM region, if you see, or ALFI in the Latin America, the number as compared to USA, Canada, and Europe, the number of medical physics program needed, and not only just the program, the quality of the program is very, very important. It's a 92 country organization representing about 35,000 members, established in 1963, 62 years ago, and we have 6 federation regional organizations, and you can see AFOM right from New Zealand, Australia to Iran is a wide area representing about 11,000 medical physicists. IUMP strategic plans we plan for every 3 years, and if you look at 2020 to 25 strategic plan, what is the mission? To improve healthcare by promoting the advancement of medical physics, science, and practice globally, and providing effective medical physics education and training, advanced medical physics in all aspects. That is our vision, and for that education is very important. This is another review article. You can just see grand challenges for medical physics in radiation oncology, and just Kron has talked about also continuous development and adoption of high-tech radiotherapy, increased need for medical physics involvement, very increased. I started my medical physics career in way back in 1984, central axis depth calculation, monthly some output data for cobalt machine. And today you see how much work, how much stringent thing, knowledge, skills, and competency of the medical physics is required for a precision oncology. New challenges have opened, and that is what we need. Update our skills and innovate education, adapt curricula to include new fields. That is not that old thing can continue. You have to learn to adapt to the new things, and multidisciplinary attitude is very, very important in this field. Without that, you cannot work or cannot deliver the medical physics services. The need for revision of the curriculum is very, very important. Emerging technologies need to be added, such like proton therapy, adaptive therapy, theragonistic new concepts have come, 3D printing which has come, AI has come, the data science has come, biology, molecular mechanism, radiobiological effect, and all those things. Regulatory and ethical competence also is very, very important. Any clinical trial, any new thing, ethics is involved, and global standardization. A patient in USA, patient in Africa, or patient in Asia needs the similar kind of treatment he deserves as a human being, and therefore standardization of the educational framework, ensuring uniform competencies worldwide, is very much required as of today. I just look at the number of medical physicists population in AFOM region, because I see many of the participants from AFOM region, and if you see from Australia, 20 medical physicists per million population, to just 0.56 in Myanmar, or 0.68 in Pakistan, or 0.62 in Nepal. That is how disparity is there, and we stand at 2.6 or 2.7 medical physicists per million population. Similarly, physicists in radiotherapy, large number. And you can see in radiology, many countries, very, very less percentage. But there are countries like Indonesia, there are countries like Hong Kong where this. So this, we need also to have more number of medical physicists in radiology, or we need to go there. If I compare the number of medical physicists to other IOMP regional organizations, US and Canada allow about 25 medical physicists per million population. IFOM about 12, and they are trying to raise to 18 medical physicists per million population, and we can see IFOM is 2.7 or something. We have to go a long way, and to have the improvement or collaboration, we have signed, AFOM has signed an agreement with MEPOM. Also, AFOM has signed an agreement with IFOM during my time for collaboration, for exchange, for education, for training, research. So what we need is an interdisciplinary approach. Without that, what we are talking about, the technology shaping the next decade, will be just a dream. It will not be a ground reality. When science and passion connects, innovation happens. Collaboration leads to the breakthrough. And therefore, this is the era, this is a time of collaborative research for the innovation, and that take place. With today's evolving science and technology, there's a desperate need for retailing science education, and interdisciplinary collaboration is very, very important for new generation of researcher and educator. That is very, very important. One must find the way to transform the multidisciplinary teaching into disciplinary approach. That is very, very important. Medical physics is a bridge between the medicine and physical sciences. Medical physics is a discipline that responding to technological and scientific problem faced in the medical field. We give the thought what technology is required. We validate the technologies. We use the technologies. We give input to innovation into the technologies. We give the input to bringing the technology from the lab to the clinics. So medical physicists are very important, but they have to encroach. They have to work into multidisciplinary field. So mission and goal of science and application of that knowledge to extend healthy life, reduce burden of illness, disability, and treat the diseases effectively. And nowadays, you are understanding radiobiology, AI, and all. Now, how you can decrease the health burden, how you can predict the outcome of the treatment, medical physicists can play a big role. Most important long-term effect of research will be identifying an individual's susceptibility to a disease, tailor-made prevention, early diagnosis. So development in medical physics sometimes strongly overlap with biomedical engineering, other subject like biology or AI and all. So it's very, very important to have a collaboration. Major areas of focus. If you want to innovate, you want to develop technology development, and then the personalization of therapy, this area one can work. Molecular imaging is the wide open field for medical physicists, molecular targeted therapies, and also you can have nanotechnologies and other thing material they are available. Particle therapies, many from proton to carbon and other particles are being tried. Clinical trials, medical physicists need to participate into clinical trial our life. Areas identified teaching and R&D activities are medical imaging, image analysis by using AI and other things, medical instrumentation, lot of work, dosimetry equipment, other equipment, planning equipment, 3D printing technology, we can use them, preparing bolus, other things, the bolus material or shielding materials or many other materials we can use, biomaterial, cancer drug design, nanotechnology, as I talk, medical statistics and informatics, we can work on this thing, nuclear medicine, radiation therapy, healthcare management, and herbal medicine and bioengineering. These are the areas also open to have collaborative work. It cannot be a single-handed by just a medical physicist. You have to involve multi-themselves. To think beyond the narrow confines of our own discipline, very, very important. Many a times we have our education or our training is such that just we produce medical physicists to take care of radiotherapy planning, GTV, PT when they are confined. That's all. But we have to think beyond this. It's not just the job of QA, QC and planning and this thing. So we have to collaborate, chemistry, molecular biologists, the computer engineers, the biomedical engineers, not in our own field, radiologist, nuclear medicine physician, technologist, and then image. So cross-fertilization between various disciplines often yields innovative will come from them. Discuss, engage with physics colleagues, from even pure physics colleagues, other sciences, engineering, chemistry, biology, mathematics, computer science, and all beyond radiology, nuclear medicine, radiation oncology, surgery, cardiology, neurology, pediatric. You talk with them, see the problem where physics can be applied, and you can help them and innovate and things like that. So this is very, very important. Your strength, find out where your strengths lie and use them to your advantage. Your circumstances, you need to successfully cultivate healthy relationship with your colleagues, with your other department people, not just to competition or this thing. You create healthy and then you can cultivate the thing. There are no secrets to the success. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Very, very important. And there is a need to take little bit of risk to develop and test and all those things. So improving research, how do we get there? Many a times we say lack of facilities, lack of time and all those things, but we can overcome all those things. And even GAMPER has tried, other many organizations have tried, because knowledge about the research at the grassroots level is a very, very important. How to plan a study, how much the number, statistical things, and collecting data, analyzing data. So those things one has to learn, and online lot of courses are there, online things are available. Lack of interest, nobody can then insight. We try to do that thing. Lack of opportunities, but there are plenty of opportunities.
I would just like to, sorry sir for interrupting, but just in the interest of time, I would like to request you to wind up soon.
Yeah. 1 or 2 minutes. 1 or 2 minutes only. 1 minute only. Lack of support, obstacle, too busy, no training research, too few mentors, role models, and all. So we can go on doing. So much more inter and transdisciplinary, much more interactive. We'll have to clinically and biologically we can do that thing. And a lot of things are there. Medical physics staying relevant. You can do how you can stay relevant. Strengthening your things you can do, and that just this book has been published, Global Medical Physics, a guide to international collaboration. And we have written global collaboration organizations, and you can refer to this thing. So special task groups you can prepare. You can have mentors, you can do mentor peer support. So accept the need to transport, develop the willingness to re-examine and reroute ourselves, develop management and leadership skill, identify opportunity. So concludingly, medical physicists should expand their horizon beyond the traditional boundaries, dosimetry, QA/QC, and to be part of exciting multidisciplinary research. Network with important researcher, learn from mentor, fill the knowledge gap, and go ahead. There's a huge gap between research, teaching, and knowledge. This you need to fill. If you are willing to learn, no one can. If you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. But you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. Idiot with a plan, an idiot with a plan can beat a genius without a plan. That is a Warren Buffett. Just do nothing, it is impossible. But take together, just do it, nothing is impossible. So medical physicists as health professional, through solidarity, continued effort, we will achieve our goal. So education is a passport to the future, for tomorrow belong to those who prepare with this multidisciplinary research, multidisciplinary approach. So thank you very much for your patience hearing and the great opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the very informative talk and highlighting the importance of interdisciplinary education to us. And now I would like to move towards the last presentation for the event, which would be followed by the panel discussion. I would like to introduce Dr. Christoph Trauernicht, Head, Division of Medical Physics, Stellenbosch University and Tygerberg Hospital, South Africa. He's a leading figure in African medical physics fraternity, having served as president of both the Federation of African Medical Physics Organizations and the South African Medical Physics Society. Dr. Trauernicht has an extensive academic and professional record. He plays an excellent record with more than 150 Congress presentations and over 90 peer-reviewed publications. He plays a key role in professional standards and training, serving as an assessor for the Health Professions Council of South Africa and acting as examiner and convener for the Colleges of Medicine of South Africa. He received the International Day of Medical Physics Award 2020 and was honored as a fellow of the International Organization for Medical Physics in 2023. It's my pleasure to now invite Dr. Christoph Trauernicht for his address.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. May I please share my screen?
Sure.
Sure.
Yes, sure, sir.
It says host disabled screen sharing. I can't log in.
Zubair, can you hear me?
Sir, please try again, sir.
Okay, let me try. There we go. So you should see my screen now.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We are able to.
Okay, fantastic. So for the next 10 or 12 minutes or so, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the really cool technologies that I foresee happening in the next decade or so. I don't have any conflicts of interest for this talk. This is my list. Not everyone may agree with my choices. I don't have any of the fancy radiotherapy stuff, particle therapy, flash radiotherapy, spatially fractionated radiotherapy. Why? As Tomas Kron already alluded, we're kind of able to deliver doses to within 5% within the patient, taking all uncertainties into account. So everything we do, we're kind of fiddling in the last couple of percent of what's possible. So I figured, let me look elsewhere. And so, of course, the first thing that comes up is AI. It's everywhere, and I firmly believe there's an AI tsunami rolling onto us, and medical physics is the best placed health professional to actually deal with this. So I went to ask AI, where's medical physics heading in the next decade? And the answer is this: heading towards a future defined by personalized medicine, integration of AI, advanced image-guided therapies. And then the role of the physicist will evolve to focus on managing, commissioning, and ensuring the safety of these complex data-driven technologies. And so I can basically stop my talk here, but I'm going to go on a little further. In the chat, there was a question: will AI replace the medical physicist? And obviously, this is a question that many people ask. So this is an AI-generated picture. It won a photo competition at the last World Congress that was called The Last Physicist, because obviously this is a question that people are asking. And so I'm going to take a step back and taking a look at a snapshot of medical physics practice patterns. And this publication stated that about a quarter to a third of physicists spend 95% of their time dedicated to clinical service and consultation. And on average, that was 87%. Now, I'm telling you, if AI can step in and help me with doing a lot of the routine stuff, I am all for it. And so I think many routine tasks will be automated. Image analysis, it's already started. There are hundreds of AI softwares on the market that do this kind of stuff. Hopefully all are validated properly. That's one of the roles that medical physics will step into. Image segmentation, image reconstruction, radiotherapy contouring and treatment planning, that's already happening. Treatment plan review, that can be automated for AI to do this. I think even machine QC, equipment monitoring, trend analysis, all that can eventually be dealt with AI. Patient-specific QA, the evaluation of that. I think AI has a massive role to play in that field. Those are data-heavy tasks, repetitive tasks, and AI is really good at this. At this point, not quite yet. If you have ambiguous results and you want to have good clinical judgment, AI is not so good at that. Making complex or novel decisions, ethical risk evaluation. So there are a few things that clearly you still need a human for. So can you take the physicists out completely? Absolutely not. I think AI is great because it can offer consistent, efficient, and safe additions to what you do. I don't think the medical physicist will get replaced, but I think the physicist who knows AI and knows how to use AI may well replace the physicist who doesn't. So there was a comment in the chat box: learn how to code. I think that's very important, and many medical physicists, including me, are not so good at it. But I think it will be a very strong tool in the next decade. So I'm going to stop here on AI. Lots of talks on this. A couple of other things I want to mention that I think will be fascinating in the next decade. Photon counting CT is one of those. So dual energy CT has been around for a while, and it makes use of the fact that you acquire an image with two different X-ray spectra, one at a higher kV, one at a lower kV, and makes use of the differences in the physical interactions that you get of photons with matter. So as you lower the energy, the photoelectric effect goes like Z cubed over E cubed. You get a lot more of that. You get a lot more differential absorption in bone, say, compared to soft tissue, versus higher energy where you have predominant Compton scatter. And so you make use of those known changes in attenuation to differentiate and quantify material composition. And the nice thing in photon counting CT is that the X-ray energy is directly converted to an electric signal without the scintillation step in the middle. And so that means that the pulse height that you get from such an interaction depends very much on the energy deposited, and you can then set different thresholds and pick images that you reconstruct with data from a particular bin only. And so what this detector technology has enabled us to do is that we can do a single energy CT scan and electronically bin the signals in different detector bins and reconstruct at different energies. So we can get dual or multi-energy data from a single CT scan. No fancy modifications, no KV switching, no second X-ray tube. It just has a good detector. What are the benefits? You can cut out the electronic noise. You can have smaller pixels, better spatial resolution, like 1/4 of a millimeter spatial resolution is achievable with these already. You can improve contrast from different, at the different energies. You can use that data to enhance your contrast. And that brings about major changes in radiology, in cardiology, in the vascular field, in thoracic imaging, musculoskeletal imaging, oncology applications. That it's mind-boggling the stuff that is possible with this. Better resolution, lower noise, lower dose, metal artifact reduction. And if it interests you, Google things like virtual monoenergetic images, virtual non-contrast images. You remove the contrast from the high energy image because you've taken advantage of identifying the iodine, and you can now remove it. Really cool stuff happening. And I think as the detectors evolve and the dead time becomes less, this will become a very powerful tool. At this point, there's still some issues, but I think in the next decade, this could become really cool. The next thing I want to highlight briefly, theranostic applications. I think nuclear medicine is very much heading into this direction. It refers to the combination of diagnosis and therapy in a single medical intervention or technique. We will see more of this as we head into personalized medicine. Theranostics will become more important, new traces, new pharmaceuticals. And of course, the one thing that physics does exclusively is internal dosimetry. This is where we will be absolutely crucial to be able to do that well. That's all I'm going to say to theranostics. If it interests you, read up on it. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening. The other thing I want to mention is MRI imaging. So I kind of have to do this. We have the big international medical MRI conference, MR in Medicine conference in Cape Town next year. So I kind of have to mention this. But the stuff that's happening in MRI imaging at the moment is really, really cool. And I'm going to highlight two things very briefly: low field MRI and MRI fingerprinting, which I think have a big potential to change how we do things in the next decade. So low field MRI imaging refers to obtaining clinical images with low magnetic fields of around 50 millitesla or so. So normal is 1.5 or 3 Tesla. On the right-hand side, that scan is actually my brain, which was taken on an MRI scanner with a 68 millitesla field. And the image quality, I think, is pretty decent. The advantage of this, it could make MRI imaging a lot more accessible, make it a lot cheaper, bring it out into the more rural areas where it's just not possible to do that now, provide earlier diagnosis. I think could be absolutely crucial for many indications, that you can put the patient on a personalized pathway much, much earlier in the public health systems. And I think it could be very useful in resource-constrained settings. So I like this. We tried to build one. At the end of last year at the University of Cape Town, we put one together with around 4,500 neodymium magnets that were placed into a Halbach array design. Ended up being about 50 millitesla. You obviously have to do the field mapping with the Hall probe. We built their gradient coils and the RF coils by hand. And so those were the first images that we got of a papaya on the left, of an orange on the right. I do think there's a lot of potential in low field MRI. The image quality is not great, but I think, again, here machine learning can make a massive difference in terms of having paired images at high Tesla versus low Teslas, and then applying that knowledge to get good quality images at low Teslas, I think. So I think there's a lot that could happen in the low field MRI arena. The other thing, MRI fingerprinting, it's the last thing I'm going to mention. So usually for an MRI scanner, we repeat the same acquisition parameters in a particular sequence until we filled up K-space, and then we reconstruct. And with fingerprinting, we vary those acquisition parameters. So the excitation angle, the phase, the repetition time, the sampling trajectories, those are varied throughout the acquisition. And so we get a unique signal time course for each tissue, which means we can start fingerprinting different tissues. Obviously, it needs to be done the right way. So your sequences have to be designed properly to get the crucial information. And that basically means that we can build quantitative maps on lossy sampling. So we can do undersampling, but because we do it in a specific way, we can retain the same information. And obviously, like with any MRI scan, it involves data acquisition, pattern matching, tissue property visualization. It's a new approach to quantitative MRI and could play a very important role in the development of imaging biomarkers and novel therapies. And where does the medical physicist come in? Improvements in sequence design, improvements in post-processing steps, image quality, image reconstruction. There's a big role for medical physicists to play in this. So I'm basically, my 12 minutes are over. A very brief introduction on 5 of the technologies that I think will be very exciting in the next decade. I do think some of the roles of medical physicists will certainly be redefined. I do think we are lacking tremendously in how we deal with the education around this. Lots of university structures are not able to deal with the quick pace of change that is currently happening. And this is something we urgently have to look at in our educational programs, both academic and clinical. Of course, there are many other things that I didn't mention that could have made the list. But anyway, that's where I'll stop. I thank you for your time and for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir, for the very interesting talk and for giving us an insight into what we may be looking forward to in the coming decade. And with this, now I would like all the speakers to join us for the panel discussion. And going by the theme and with the keyword being interdisciplinary research, and along with that comes the curriculum. So my first question, or what I would like to open for the floor, is how do you think we will be able to bring together the conventional conceptual knowledge and AI? So being a clinical physicist, what we generally face as we roll out AI and automated tools into the system, we directly start using them. And do you think there is a chance that we may lose our conceptual knowledge, or we may lose, like, we may not be able to do the dosimetry on the couch because we are so much used to the automated systems now? Do you think that fear or that that we'll be losing on the basics is there when we talk about AI into the when we're talking about AI?
So maybe I can answer this one briefly. I think at heart, we're physicists, we're scientists. We want to know how stuff works. And I think that's not just going to go away. We don't want to create a bunch of button pushers that say, you know, I push this button, out comes the answer, but I don't actually know what really just happened and how I can test it. So I think one of the key roles of a medical physicist is to ensure that AI technology is used properly and correctly. And that means that we have to look at all steps in the process, at the data curation. Is it appropriate data for our setting? Is it used appropriately? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? Is it used the right way? And in some sense, medical physics is already kind of missing the bus because there are hundreds of softwares out there that are already FDA approved that hopefully do what they're supposed to do, but we don't really know. But I do think it is absolutely crucial that medical physics checks if it does what it's supposed to do. And that will become a major component of what medical physics does, I think. That means we've got to know the underlying physics. And we have to be able to go back to first principles to reason things out. I think that will remain with the physicist going forward. It doesn't matter how much AI we use. That's my opinion anyway.
Yes,
Can
sir.
I add in? Yeah,
Yes, sir,
always. Yeah. So any technology or any AI or system it has come, first and foremost thing is that we validate that thing. We do routine QA/QC very stringent quality control when it is going to be very, very mechanistic things. And to do so, unless until you don't know the basics and these things, you cannot do that thing. So if AI is also there, the man or woman behind or the physicist will be there. He cannot become an absolute or that thing. So he will be always there, because we are clinical judgment or judgment what we are going to deal with a patient human being. We have to be very, very cautious in checking, rechecking, and seeing that it is functioning properly for that basic. Yes, if you over depend upon that things, it's just a mechanical what Chris has told, push and push button, then you may lose the what basics and these things are.
Yes, Professor Thomas, you want to say something? Yes.
Yes, I think this is certainly an important question we need to deal with. There are a number of different answers to that. First, AI is not one thing. There is a huge spectrum of different AI approaches. I'm trying to make sure that all our residents have a good grounding in statistics. That actually already takes care of quite a number of things in the AI world. But the second is that validation, as was mentioned by both Chris and Arun, is absolutely essential. And a physicist will need to validate any software which comes into the clinic. AI is not different to any other software. And the third thing, though, I can see is in that space of we sort of dream about explainability, where we actually sort of think we follow the AI in its way, how it analyzes the data. That may not work. But what does work, and I'm co-supervising a PhD student who is using probabilistic AI. Or probabilistic machine learning. And the idea there is that the software does not just give you an answer, but it also gives you the uncertainty or the confidence thereof. That's something which should become really standard. In the context of contouring, for example, that means that if the software contours a prostate, it will tell you, here at that edge of the prostate, at the lateral aspects, I'm fairly confident that's fine. But the seminal vesicles, I'm not quite sure about it, and gives you the uncertainty around it. So these are tools which medical physicists need to, well, if we have the luxury to develop them, even better. I doubt it, but we can demand. We can demand from manufacturers, and I think that is where a role of medical physicists becomes really, really essential for the future applications of these tools.
May I add something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry, I'm open area, a bit noisy. I would like to emphasize that it's important to go back to the basic. I always believe our basic physics, really quantum mechanics, electric magnetism, and of course, mathematics is so important. And here people are rushing to do AI research, but they don't really grasp the maths behind. Right? It's all the advanced mathematics. If we want to contribute to have an impactful research, we need to build up, or most of us probably have forgotten the maths we learned, Fourier transform, and all the advancements. So it's good to go back there, even take up physics courses again, because a lot of advances really depend on the physics. For example, quantum computing we talk about today is all about quantum mechanics. And how many of us still remember? Even I have to go back to attend classes to refresh my knowledge on quantum physics. So that is important. Go to physics. So don't rush to do that. And we really can then do meaningful, impactful research. And also be playful. Uh, I'm in front of a toy store. It's interesting. And you see how children, there are a lot of physics in all the toys, are very curious about how it works and be like kids again, to be curious, to play around and find out. And this is the message I like to give it to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So thank you. So that's exactly the message that we want to give to the audience as well, that with AI coming into picture, our role actually becomes more important, because the validation and that onus that it is exactly what it is promising to be is on us. So our role is not being diminished, but rather we are the checkers. We are like the police people for checking all these softwares. This brings me to the next question, because with whatever new technologies are coming up, we need to upgrade our curriculum, and we need to upgrade the curriculum across the globe. But what do you think about, there's a very vast difference between LMICs and the developed nations, as it was very clearly shown in Chougule sir's presentation, that the resources, there are countries which do not even have the basic resources. When we talk about these high-end technologies over there, how do you think in the coming decade we would be able to bridge that gap? So there is a country where the people do not have access to basic radiation oncology, basic radiation therapy, and there are countries where we are talking about flash therapy and proton therapy, and that is just that's the stark reality which we are facing right now. So how do you think we'll be able to bridge that gap in the coming decade? And yes, sir.
Yeah, Jivanshu, I can answer this. Being the chair of the Education Training Committee, we have studied it's a harmonization of the curriculum and syllabus in toto is a very, very hard task because there is a disparity. But yes, when we were revising TCS 56, some of our colleagues were asking why not to add all these advanced technologies as this thing. But the stand of the IAEA and other colleague was this thing, minimum basic things which all countries can implement that thing. Just revising the syllabus and just copying from some advanced countries where you do not have the faculty to teach them, where you do not have equipment or the labs to give them the training, or where there you are not going to use in coming years. These are just theoretical knowledge or something. So, though the gap is bridging, because as you know, if I'm going to use the LINAC, so basic treatment, what they are there, that is all over the world. They are being used. May not be flash or something what you talked about, or may not be particle therapy or all. But the basic technologies, basic thing, basic dosimetry. Dosimetry has to be uniform. A dose 1 gray here or anywhere, it has to be there. So those understanding, quality control, QA/QC, those things has to be homogenized. That will be harmonized everywhere. But as far as the technology progression adoption is taking, some countries may lag into that thing. But yes, basic introduction. Even countries in Africa, they may learn what proton therapy is there. They may not be able to use in coming days, but what proton therapy is there. So that is how one has to go ahead.
Thank you, sir. We had one small, like Professor Thomas touched upon systemic therapies that are coming up, and sir also talked about interdisciplinary research. So I would be very interested in knowing, and I'm sure the audience is as well, that how do you think we can include these systemic therapies in our curriculum? Or basically, how can we get into the systemic therapies, and where should we actually be looking? Because there are so many therapies that are coming up. We have immunotherapies, we have nanotechnology coming up, we have so many things. But just going into the field would be, it's like looking into a forest somewhere. You're looking for something. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. So how do you think we should how should we approach this systemic therapies and interdisciplinary research as a medical physicist?
Yes, I think this is a tremendously good question, and a question we are trying to tackle. We are fortunate that we are a big institution which is organized in tumor streams. So our clinicians work in 11 different tumor streams, from neuro-oncology to head and neck to lung to breast and so on. We have tried to attach a physicist to each of these tumor streams because in practice, we will not be able to understand the systemic therapies for abdominal cancers, for head and neck cancers, for breast cancers. In breast cancer, there are already hundreds of different options there. But if we focus with the clinician together on one particular disease site, I think we have a chance to grasp what is important. The other important thing to consider is that we are trying to focus on drugs which have an interaction or relevance for our core business, which is radiation. So we would, for example, look for PARP inhibitors because they interact with the repair mechanisms, or they convert single strand breaks into double strand breaks. So radiobiology at a ground level. We look at immune therapy because the radiation interacts with the immune system as such. We look obviously at nuclear medicine therapies, which are also systemic, and their physicists are already part, or must be part and parcel of the team. So by trying to just do a quick Google search, if a clinician talks about some sort of drug, do a quick Google search and put the drug and say radiation with it. If there's nothing coming up, then I typically don't follow that up any further. But if radiation and there's an interaction and it says, oh, yes, both of them have cardiac toxicity, I think, oh, all right, I probably need to learn a bit more about it. So it is something which there is no good curriculum as yet, but it is something I'm interested in developing, that we can potentially come up with something like the 10 most important drugs a medical physicist ought to know about. And then we just have a paragraph about each of them. And I think that would make us a more competent and knowledgeable partner in discussions with clinicians.
Just I can add to the thing.
Yes,
See,
sir.
the curriculum. See, you cannot have each and everything in 2 years master's program or 2 years residency program. It becomes a bulky. Once you do that thing, or during that also, many countries have started some elective subject. For example, 3D printing. Some have started AI add-on. Some have started advanced radiobiology, isn't it? So these are the elective subject where you want to make your specialization more skills or more this thing. This is one thing. One of the participants has asked in which area I can do the research. It is, see, you have to see where you are working, what facilities are available, what is feasible at your level, and those things. Some simple example I will tell you. You talked about the thing. So we use some indigenous Ayurvedic medicine for protection or alleviating the radiation reactions and things like that, because we have National Institute of Ayurveda, or we did some radiobiology cancer lab is here with them some PhD. So it's an availability of the equipment, facilities, domain, then collaboration you can do. And now the thought process is that should this medical physics master's program be 2 years or 3 years, as lot of all MSc medical programs are of 3 years. So all this, if you want to add into the curriculum itself at the level, you have to expand those things. But it is during your period, during CPDs, you are attending the courses, attending the skills interaction, you can develop this and implement as per your requirement, feasibility, and where you can apply.
Thank you so much, sir. And one last question amidst all this. We are like an organized, this webinar has been organized by GAMPER. And there are many numerous other organizations as well, like IFOMP and IOMP. What do you think from your personal view that these organizations, what is their role in shaping the next decade for medical physics? Like what kind of key role these regional organizations and local organizations play in bringing medical physics to the forefront of this technological revolution? Like how can they play a role in bringing us forward? Anyone from the panel can?
I can, but okay. Just as I said that the AFOM has specified that these are our requirements, these are our things, that these are our areas, our medical physicists or students or young medical physicists should know. So AFOM has started the webinars, the schools, things, and even specific programs, the availability of literature, things like that, some incentives, awards, and things like that, focusing on these areas. So similarly, all the regional organization, all the NMOs, they come together. They individually they can try, they can come together, have this knowledge is should be spread and should be available. And now I think COVID has given us such a tool of the Zoom that anywhere we are there, we can log in, we can get, and there is a lot of material available online, recording and all those things. Now they have to get that things, watch, read, and develop and go ahead.
Professor Kron, would you like to say something?
Yes, I think that's a really good question, and I do like the idea of including professional organizations. The point I wanted to make is that if a medical physicist has an opportunity to attend a radiology conference or a radiation oncology or an oncology conference or a nuclear medicine conference and be there for the clinicians, with the clinicians, that is probably the most important opportunity to promote us. And the first time, at least my experience has been, the first time I was there and didn't say a thing. The second time I sort of once or twice asked the question. And the fifth time I was the invited speaker. And people wanted to know, what is it you can contribute? Tell us about what you're doing. So I think it is really the bridges to the other, to our clinical colleagues, which we need to build. And in practice, the College of Oncology or the College of Radiologists, they have much more leverage with governments to actually make things happen, as long as we can be part and sit at the table.
I think I agree with you, sir. Professor Chris, you would like to say something?
Yeah, I would like to add on a little bit. So obviously the personal connections with other clinicians are absolutely crucial. I also think, so coming from an African context, most of the countries in Africa don't have a national medical physics society. And if you want your profession to be recognized on a national level, you need that. You won't find an individual who goes to a health professions council and says, you should recognize me because I'm here now. But they might listen if you have an association or a society. And if you then have the backing of the clinicians, things will start rolling. It's a long process. It takes many years. I mean, I see there's someone here from Tanzania for how long have they tried to get academic training off the ground? They finally managed. I mean, I'm so happy for them. It's fantastic, but it took, I don't know, since I started, they were talking about it 20 years ago. It's a long process and it's easy to drop the ball. So it kind of needs a consistent effort. And I really think national societies are absolutely crucial in advancing the profession within the country. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, Mr. Abu, you would like to say something?
I'd like to add something because I'm the director of GAMPER, and thanks to all of our panel of experts, and definitely my thanks to our the moderator, brilliant moderator, obviously I would say, and the platform that we built, actually it was our dream. Maybe somebody asked me why did you create this platform, because you have your country platform like a BMPS. So this is not actually, we don't have any contradiction. We are working somewhere together, somewhere differently, because especially what we feel that we want to overcome our lackings where the people, especially those are living in the low and middle income countries. So that's why we want to connect the more people from you as a mentor, and we would like to organize such kind of program later. Even we're trying to expand our program, not only in the webinar, even so for special courses, basically focuses on the people in the low and middle income countries. So that is our aim, and obviously the Professor Arun sir and Professor Tomas Kron, we had a good connection very few years back. So hopefully he will be work as our mentor and support us. And first time we connected to the Dr. Chris, we also hopefully will have a support from him. So all together, we would like to work, and we would like to go ahead to overcome the problem that we are facing. And I always say, if our webinar or if our work can help any of the participant, so that will be our success. So that's all from my side. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I already details and shared my colleagues, Mr. Abu Kosa. Actually, when I GAMPER, so lots of questions, why GAMPER? Lots of organizations, national organizations, regional organizations. So why we established again another one? Actually, it's GAMPER was founded as the unique challenge, having a witness and first-hand urgent need enhance medical physics education and training in low and middle income countries. If we compare with Australia, they are doing SRS, SBRT, plus also cyberknife, proton therapy, and their research on flash therapy. In our low and middle income countries, is still sorry, is still they're doing 2D 3D plan, and is still there lack of knowledge, lack of infrastructure. With this witness of the current scenario in low and middle income countries, we established a GAMPER for capacity building, mentorship programs, and education and training program. That's why we established. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as we move towards the end of our session, we've already overshot our time. I would just request all the speakers, if they have one final line or one final take-home message for our audience, like maybe a line per speaker if we can. So I would like to start with Professor Tomas Kron, if he's there. If he's still online.
Is there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Maybe some final words, sir, before we wrap up the session.
I think if you're here in the session, and if you're a medical physicist, you've made the right career choice.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Professor Chougule.
Keep passion for learning acquiring the skills alive. Put the brain and heart into the job you do, you are bound to get the success. Keep on doing, continue the efforts.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now request Professor Chris, Dr. Chris.
So I'm going to quote a physicist from the US. Many of you might know him, Mahesh. He says, remain curious. I think that's absolutely crucial as physicists, that we stay invested in what we do, that we stay on top of the technology. This is also where CPD comes in. And I just lost my train of thought. I missed it. Be curious. I had a nice punchline. I forgot it. I'm sorry.
Okay, sir. And I don't know if Professor Kwan, are you still online with us? If you would just like to
Yes,
end
I am. Yeah, I am.
online.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes.
I've been sort of on and off listening. Yeah, indeed. My tagline is we have to change and make a difference. By changing, we learn new things. We are humble enough to let others to teach us. Even there's something called reverse mentoring that I'm doing. We have think of senior people mentoring younger, but we learn a lot from youngers as well. It's called reverse mentoring. I often ask my students to teach me Python, for example, teach me AI techniques. So learn, keep on learning, and continue to change and make a difference.
Thank you so
I
much,
do
sir.
remember. I just remembered again.
Yes, sir.
I would like to say, do the best you can do with what you have, even if it's the latest, not the latest technology, because you can do great things with what you have.
Yeah,
Thank you so
wonderful.
much. Yes, that is exactly what we should follow. Yes. So I think with the permission of the organizers, I think we can end the session here. And from my side, I think we should be just adaptable, and that is what will take us forward. Like, we cannot be rigid, we cannot be confined, and if we adapt, definitely we will go ahead. So, with the permission of the organizers, should we close the session?
Sure.
Excuse me, before you close, I think they left out my last two slides on my
Yes.
presentation. I'm not...
Okay, sir. Okay, so
Yes, I'll
yes,
share,
please.
sir. I'm ready, sir. Hello.
चालू है नहीं
Not started, actually.
Okay, just a moment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, now it's visible. Yeah, it was visible.
It's not visible now.
Is it visible?
No, not yet.
It's visible.
Is it visible?
I don't think so. Not to me. I think it's. I think there's some technical issue.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think we just forget about
Yes.
it.
Yeah, thank you, sir. But we will be uploaded this video to our website and our all the online pages so the people can view this. So thank you, sir. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank everyone and all the speakers for their valuable inputs and sparing their valuable time with us. And thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a
Thank
nice
you
day.
all. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.